Hello, today we are working on inverse of composite functions. Last week we worked on composite functions, and I just want to do a review of the terms. Remember, composite, all that really meant was two-step functions. It was just functions that we had to do one thing, and then we had to do another before we got both of our points. Now today we're going to add the inverse of that. All inverse means is opposite. So instead of going forward through our function machine, we're going to go backwards. So let's look at this function below, and I'm going to go forward through the function and then go backwards through it. So you can see this function here, we already know our x value is 3. So I know it's 3 comma y. We still don't know what y will be. So let's run our 3 through our composite function, or our two-step function here. So 3 times 3 gives us 9. That gets us halfway through our function. And then we have to go 9 plus 2 gives us our y value of 11. So we know our 3 comma y is actually, our x is 3 and our y is 11. Or 3, 11 is our ordered pair we get from that function machine. Now let's look at what it means to do the inverse, or the opposite. So on our function below, on this one you can see we do not know our x value, but we do know y is 11. So this one we do not know x, but we know our y value is 11. So what we'll do when we do the inverse, the opposite, we just go backwards through that function machine. So what we do when we go backwards is, instead of doing plus 2 that you see here, and the times 3, when we go backwards, we actually do the opposite sign. So instead of doing plus 2, I'm going to do minus 2. Instead of doing times 3, the opposite of multiplication is division, I'll do divided by 3. Now look at how I can go backwards through my machine. I'll go 11 minus 2. 11 minus 2 gives me 9. And then I go from our middle, 9 divided by 3 gives me an x value of 3. So I get the point 3 comma 11. So you can see that's the same as the function above, but instead of going forward, I had my y, I went backwards, and all I do is I change the opposite sign on both functions when I go backwards. I'm going to put a few on the screen for you to try now. Okay, so I put 2 problems on the screen for you here. You see I have this one. I do not know my x, but I know my y value is 17. So you have to go inverse, go backwards to find our x. And then on the blue one below, again, we don't know our x value, but we know our y value is 3. So you need to work inverse or opposite to go back. Go ahead and pause your video now and see if you can solve both of these problems. Okay, so let's see how you did. The first one, we started with 17. And remember, when we're doing the opposite, oh, I just realized I spelled opposite wrong. Let's change it. When we're doing the opposite, remember, we are working backwards. So, instead of doing minus 3, when we do the opposite, we'll do plus 3. Because we're going backwards. Because we're going backwards, instead of times 5, we'll do divided by 5. Alright, so let's see how we did. We have 17. We'll go plus 3. 17 plus 3 gives us 20. And then 20 divided by 5 gives us 4. So you should have gotten x equals 4. Or 4 comma 17. Now let's see how you did on the bottom one. First thing I do, because we're going inverse opposite, we have to do the opposite of our sign. So instead of divided by 5, it's times 5. Instead of minus 5, it's plus 5. And let's go backwards. So 3 times 5 gives us 15. And then 15 plus 5 gives us 20. So you should have gotten x equals 20, or 20 comma 3. Hopefully that's making sense to you. That is the end of our video today, and I will see you in class tomorrow to try this out. Thank you.